sure that we have a couple of blocks handy for this class. And we are going to start laying down. You can just set the blocks off to the side for now and get yourself comfortable on your back. Once you arrive, if it feels good to do a little bit of movement, then do a little bit of movement. If it feels right just to settle into stillness right away, then take that moment to get yourself into the perfect position for you. Does not have to be a traditional Shavasana style. Knees can be bent. You can have props under you. Just make yourself comfortable. Become aware of all the points of contact your body has with the floor or with a prop. Let your mind focus on all these areas, bringing in a little bit of grounding. Feel your heels, the backs of your hips, your shoulders, the back of your skull, and any other areas that are touching something else. Since it's really important to start any movement practice, whether it's a yoga class, you're going to the gym, you're playing a sport, with a little bit of mindfulness. So often we just jump into our day, jump into our activities without letting our mind and our body unite and come together. So even if it's just taking a couple of deep breaths, closing your eyes for a moment and visualizing, or more of a meditation style, they're all perfectly good to start building that connection. As we build the connection, our body and our mind feel supported, and it allows them to unite together. Let your breath deepen into your belly. And let it slowly fall away. Each breath in, the belly expands. Each breath out, the belly contracts. Let's take a few more deep rounds of breath. And if you have props underneath you, you can start to move them now. Bring your hands down alongside your body, palms facing the floor. And on your next inhale, lift the arms up overhead, Stretching through the fingers, taking a nice long reach. Starting to feel your side bodies lengthen. On an exhale, bring them back down alongside you. Let's sync our breath. So as we inhale, we reach and lengthen. And as we exhale, we drop the hands down beside us. Inhale, lifts up. And exhale, bring those hands down. One more time, just like this. Inhale, reach those arms up. And exhale, bring the hands down alongside you. Bend both knees in, planting your feet down on the floor. Lift your hips up a little bit and think about tucking the tailbone underneath you and setting the low back down on the floor as much as you can. You might want to feel where your ribs are and where your hips are. We want the connection of our ribs and our hips to come towards each other. So if you have a really big back bend in the low back here, to get some more core engagement, think about the bottom of the rib cage coming to the top of the hip crest. And that'll help even out the back of the pelvis. See if you can keep this integrity in the core as we begin to move. Take those arms back overhead. Inhale. So no flaring of the rib cage. Exhale, draw them back down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Keep the ribs down. Exhale, bring the hands back down. And this might mean that your arms aren't going quite as high overhead. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, hands down by your side. One more time. Inhale, stretch. And exhale, hands come down. Stack your knees over top of your hips as you lift your feet up and you come into a right angle at the knees. Pay attention to what's happening here in the trunk and in the pelvis. Can you get the rib cage to stay nice and tight still with your hips? Hands can stay beside you. If you feel confident, drop one heel towards the floor with no arching in the back, and then lift that knee back up. Let's go to the other side. Drop that heel down, draw the rib cage towards the hips, and lift that knee back up. Let's keep going. Right. Guess it doesn't matter what side. Draw it in. And then the other side. And then bring it in. One more time each side. Keep the rib cage and the hips coming towards each other. And lift it up. And one more time. Tap it down. And lift it up. Excellent. Give those knees a hug. And a little rock from right to left. Massaging out the low back area. Feeling your sacrum down on the floor. We will rest in a neutral position. Left foot comes down. Cross the right ankle over top of the left knee. We're coming into a supine pigeon. So think about sending that right thigh towards the top of your mat and then pull the left thigh in towards you. And if this is too deep, just keep the foot down on the floor. If you're okay here, slide the hands through, grab either the hamstrings or the shin. Pay attention to where the left femur is, the left thigh bone. We want it to stay in line with the left shoulder as much as you can, so not falling over towards the right side. You should feel the backs of your hips really even and level down on the floor. And the majority of the stretch will be on the outside of this right hip. Take a couple breaths here. And slowly release the left foot down. Keep this shape here. Drop the right foot over towards the left. So you're coming into a twist. Keep the right knee pointing up towards the ceiling. And if you want, you can reach your arms out towards the side. So you're feeling this sensation wrapping up along the right side of the body. You have to use a little bit of strength here to keep pressing the ankle in towards the top of the left thigh and to keep that knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Take another breath. And then as you exhale, let the top knee, the right knee, drop down towards the floor. Use your left hand on the outside of that thigh just to guide it down a little bit. You'll feel a nice stretch right in the back of that right hip. Just a few breaths as we slowly Start to warm the body, lubricate what's all the surrounding joints. On your exhale, we'll slowly release and come on to our backs once again. Uncross and recross to the left ankle over top. Once you're settled there, think about that left thigh reaching towards the top of your mat, and then draw the right knee in. Grabbing wherever you like, so hamstring or shin. Keep the upper body as rested and relaxed as you can. And feel the back of your hips really level on the floor. Right thigh stays in line with the right shoulder. A few deep breaths here. Let the shoulders relax. And then slowly release that right foot down. Keep the right foot down and then drop the left foot over towards the right side, coming into the twisted pigeon. Arms reach out toward the side. Keep the left knee trying to reach up towards the ceiling and press away to the front of your mat. And you'll notice in this sequence of first postures here that it gets into all these different little areas of the hip. Often we think about stretching, we only do one area or one spot that feels like it needs it. And we stop or we forget to think about all the other areas. Take that top knee now and drop it down towards the floor. Right hand can come to the outside and just guide it down a tiny little bit here. Deep breaths. In and out. And we'll slowly release and come onto our backs. Bend both knees in. Give them a little bit of a hug here. You can roll over to one side and help your way up, or you can just start to rock and roll. If you're rocking and rolling, take a few times to really smooth out the back of the spine so it's not so clunky. You can reach the arms and use a bit more core engagement. Eventually coming all the way onto your seat. Find yourself on your sits bones. Let's come into a box sit where we come into our Sukhasana and then wiggle those feet across as much as we can, trying to make the shape of a box with your bottom half. Fingertips come down alongside you, lift your hips up and set them down. If that's a little challenging, you can just rock side to side and pull the flesh out from underneath you. On your inhale, lift your chest up nice and high. On your exhale, start to hinge and fold yourself forward. You can use your hands on your knees or on the floor. Feel fold rounding through the spine and then ripple back up from the tailbone all the way to the top of the head. So let's make this fluid. Inhale, chest lifts up. Gaze up, start to lean forward as far as you can. When you can't go any farther, tuck the chin, round yourself, and come all the way up through that cat pose. One more time. Inhale, lift up, lean forward. Get that spine moving. Exhale, draw yourself all the way back up. Good. Keep the right leg bent and stretch the left leg out. And let's keep the foot on the inside of the thigh, sitting nice and tall. Spin your sternum so that it's in line with the left leg as best as you possibly can. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, hinge yourself forward, reaching for somewhere on that left leg. Take a nice deep fold here. Drop the right shoulder a little bit more. Feel the stretch in the back of that left hamstring. Feel the right hip opening up. Keep pushing your right foot into the thigh. We don't want to be passive here. We want to have a little bit of activity. Deep breath. Inhale, look back at your big toe. Exhale, bring yourself all the way up. Open the left leg out towards the side now. Bring that right foot in towards your groin just a little bit more. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, left hand comes down to the left leg, slide it out and start to hinge over to the left side. Now don't go quite as deep as you think you can. Take yourself back out of it just a tiny little bit. Focus on the bottom side of your rib cage, spinning up towards the ceiling, taking the top shoulder and spinning it towards the back. If this arm is a problem or it's uncomfortable, you can just take your fingertips to your shoulder or just take it out completely. Once you have that rib cage in position, then feel free to slide yourself down. You can either take your elbow to the inside of the leg or the outside, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Maybe grab your big toe. Big stretch. Already starting to feel those tissues on the right side of the rib cage. Let your head just relax wherever it wants. Keep the right hip planted down. And then inhale, let's come all the way back up. Beautiful. Take that left foot now, cross it in front of the right, and wiggle those feet to come into your box sit. You can rock side to side to get the flesh out, or use your fingertips to lift your hips up and set yourself down. Keep the spine nice and tall, and as you inhale, hands on the knees, let that chest lift up. Lead with the chin so you can stretch all underneath your chin. Lean forward as far as you can. Be so over dramatic with this. We're tucking around the chin, around the spine as you come all the way back up. Like a wave, inhale, lift up. Keep those sits bones down on the floor as you move. So this movement comes from the hips and the spine. Roll yourself all the way back up. One more time, lift that chin up, lean forward. Gorgeous. Come all the way back up. Once you arrive back up, left leg stays bent in, right leg stretches out. Glue that foot to the inside of your thigh. Feel both sits bones on the floor. Try to keep the sternum in line with the extended leg. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hinge yourself forward, grabbing a hold of that right leg somewhere. Doesn't matter where, it can be the thigh, it can be on the sides of the knee, it can be the calf, the ankle, the foot. Drop the left shoulder a little bit more. Feel the stretch in the back of the right leg. Deep breaths in and out. Let's take another couple breaths here. And inhaling, looking at your big toe. Exhaling, coming all the way back up. Open the right leg out towards the side. Pull that left foot in towards your groin. Continue to feel both hips pressing down into the floor. Inhale, both arms reach up. Exhale, right hand comes down to the right leg and start to hinge over towards the right side. Before you go as deep as you possibly can, pause. Focus on what's happening in the rib cage. Think about the bottom ribs reaching up towards the ceiling, back of the shoulders reaching back, and then proceed, taking yourself down. You can always take the arm out of the equation if the shoulder's feeling a little bit cranky. What's happening in the rib cage? Are you flaring in your ribs? Can you draw those ribs in towards your hips? I reminded you all of that because I was definitely doing that. Often we take ourselves into a back bend in order to make the spine move. We want to get that lateral flexion working for us here. Take another couple of breaths. So good. Inhale, bring yourself all the way back up. And you can bend both legs in, give them a little shake. Let's reach for our blocks. We're going to create a block tower. I've been doing this exercise quite a bit lately, and I'm really enjoying the benefits and the sensations I'm feeling. So I'm using 2 blocks and I'm stacking them up on top of each other. If you don't have blocks, like just something that feels like it's going to hold your seat because we're going to sit on it. So something about this high. If you don't have blocks, even a stool, a low stool, or I don't know, be creative. Yeah, a swivel chair, sure. You can try it. Open the feet up. So we're taking like a malasana, yogi squat here, but we're propping our butt up on something so we have a little bit of support and we're not sinking down as far as we possibly can. I want your knees to be in line with the center of your foot as much as you can. So just watch that you're not overturning your feet out and your knees are dropping in. We constantly have that feeling of the thighs opening up towards the back. And then you can walk your feet out just a tiny little bit. You can't always do this when you're in your malasana. Take your hands to the outsides of the knees, sorry. And then press the knees inwards, rolling towards the big toe edge of your feet to feel that internal rotation of the hips. Maybe the knees come together, maybe they don't. Open them up using your hands. Woo, feeling that stretch. Close the thighs. Good. And open. And there's probably one direction that feels better in your hips than the other. And everybody's different. For me, internal rotation's really hard. And external rotation comes a little bit easier, but you might be the opposite. The next time that you come in, I want you to think about cat pose. So round the spine, tuck the chin. On your inhale, open the knees, lift the chest and sternum up like cow. Exhale, tuck the chin, round the spine. Inhale, open the thighs, lift the gaze. One more time. Exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, open it up. Now keep the thighs where they are, neutralize your spine. Lean onto the right knee. So you can just put your elbow onto the right thigh, take the left hand, give yourself a little push over towards the side, and the push is more to feel the shoulders start to roll back. So you can feel the left shoulder start to roll back. If you feel okay here, start to slide the left arm up towards the ceiling, keeping length on both sides of your body. So this is the next stage. I'm going to keep building and you can go to the depth that feels good. If you feel all right here, take that right hand and start to reach it down on the inside of the right leg towards the floor. Maybe the fingertips touch the floor, the palm touches the floor. Watch that that top shoulder didn't start to round down. Keep it pulling back. Arms just reaching up towards the ceiling right now. Left hip stays heavy on those blocks. If the left shoulder feels okay, you can start to reach it over your ear towards the right. Getting a nice long side body stretch here. Head can be up or down, whatever feels natural to you. Keep pressing the left thigh back. Feel the connection of the right arm and the right thigh. Another breath here. As you exhale, begin to round the spine and come towards the right foot as much as you can with those left fingertips. And then walk your fingers towards the center and roll the spine all the way up back to sit right where we started. Got right into that. Left QL, yeah, let's try the other side. So we start kind of lazy. Lean on the side, put your hand on the knee. Use that hand, push. And you can feel, or I hope you can feel, as you push, both sides of the body try to get really long as you try to straighten that left arm. Hold that positioning and then reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. So we're not curving too much in the spine here yet. We're keeping the length on both sides. If you feel okay here, left hand now starts to slide down towards the floor. And you'll feel that binding, that connection between the left side. Keep the right butt cheek down on the blocks. And if you're okay, in the right shoulder, reach the right arm over. Now you're in that lateral flexion through the spine, but we're creating length. Let the neck be long here. Head can go wherever it's comfortable. Breathe deeply into that right side of your rib cage. Feel the sensations all the way down the right side. Keep opening the right hip. On your exhale, top arm now is curving down towards the floor. Curve your spine. Move slow, 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 slow. Get the fingers towards the floor. Walk yourself towards the center. And then roll yourself all the way back up. Now we're going to create circles, moving through these positions as deep as you want or as shallow as you want. Let's go to the right first. Scoop the left arm up over, reach the right hand down. Then keep scooping through the spine as you come towards the center, and then roll yourself all the way up. Then the right arm reaches as you go towards the left. Side body stretch, curve through the spine, come towards the center, and then all the way back up. If you feel comfortable with that, reach to the right, left arm comes over, scoop it down towards the center. Now keep going all the way to the left, and then peel yourself up in opposition, reaching the right arm up. Then you keep going, windmill the arms. So you can just do the half ones if that feels better. Or if this feels too coordinated to you, walk to the left, peel up with the right. One more time going this way. Really over exaggerate everything. So don't just skip through the positions. Try to deeply take yourself through, moving that spine. The next time that you come to the left, peel it up and hold. Now reverse, go the other way. Scoop yourself down, walk yourself towards the right, peel yourself up. So now we're using the strength of that lateral flexion to come out of it, not just go into it. Walk yourself over, left arm lifts up. We got one more. Reach it over, come all the way over towards the right, and peel yourself all the way back up towards the center. Once you arrive, take your hands on the outsides of those knees, knock them in. Whew. We were in that deep external rotation for a while. Just hold here. Sit nice and tall through your spine. Feel that elongation. Opening up your knees now, walk your feet so that they're about hip distance apart and they feel really planted on the floor. Use your hands if you need, but I challenge you to try to use no hands. Stand up. You might have to think about it. That's okay. If you have to push on your knees, push on your knees. Now, take note of where those blocks are. Sit back down. You got it. This is like true function. Can you get up and off the toilet without using your hands? Something that we all have to do multiple times a day. Sit back down. Stand back up. If you have to use your hands on your thighs, use your hands on your thighs. And sit back down. You guys are rocking this. Good. It's time to stand back up. Take those blocks and move them out of the way, coming to the top of your mat. Once you're standing at the top of the mat, without looking, feel your feet underneath you. Try not to look at your toes. Feel your toes wiggle and spread. Feel the bottoms of your feet, all four corners. Feel that tailbone get heavy. Remember the rib cage flare. Draw the ribs towards your hips as best as you can. Roll the shoulders up and back. On your inhale, lift your arms up overhead, gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold yourself all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, find some length. Exhale, plant your hands down on the mat, and let's step back into our downward facing dog. Always know that you can come to tabletop if downward facing dog's not feeling good for you. Pedal out the feet, sway those hips side to side, shake your head, yes and no. Just get comfortable with the sensation of the lengthening in all sides of your body here. It's one of the beautiful things of downward facing dog. Now shorten your downward facing dog and take your feet a little bit wider and shorten it almost enough that you can perhaps get your heels down on the floor. Knees can be bent to help you. Push the right hand into the floor, and as you push that right hand, feel the right hip pull away towards the back. How long can you make the right side of your body? Take that left hand. You can either tent it just down on the floor underneath your face, or see if you can reach towards the right leg on the outer edge, somewhere. Use the bend of the left arm to help pull yourself under, maybe peeking underneath the right armpit. Feel that intense side stretch. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Return back to your downward facing dog. If you need to take a rest in between, feel free to take that rest. Let's focus on the left side now, pushing with that left arm as much as you can. Take the right hand. Maybe you're just reaching underneath you, coming into a little baby twist, or maybe you can reach the left side of your leg. Wherever you have, twist. Maybe you're peeking underneath that left shoulder. Keep pushing with the left arm for 3, 2, 1. Come back towards your downward facing dog. Lengthen it out. Stretch those legs out. And then on an inhale, let's shift yourself forward to plank pose. You can take your knees down towards the floor. Keep shifting yourself forward past your fingertips and bend those elbows, slowly lowering yourself down to your belly through your chaturanga. Stretch the feet, point the toes into the, or push the toes into the floor. Inhale, little baby cobra. Feel the length. And then exhale, up and back into your child's pose. Let the forehead rest down towards the floor. You can let your arms, elbows rest. Just taking some deep rounds of breath here, hips relaxing down in towards the floor. Let's take one more breath. And when you're ready, finding your way back into your downward facing dog. Lift those hips up and back. With the strength of your arms holding you there, lift your right leg up as high as you can, keeping your hips square towards the floor. Big, big reach. On your exhale, bend that knee, draw it into your belly, shift yourself forward and step the right foot down by the right hand. Back knee comes down onto the floor and bring your hands up onto your thigh. If your blocks are still handy, you can have one on the right side, but if they're not, there's no need to come out of the posture. Keep the tailbone tucked under. Feel the stretch in the front of that left thigh. On your next inhale, left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. A little side bend over towards the right side. Feeling this all the way up the left side of your body. Now, if you have a block, you can always take your right hand to the block on the outside of your right hip. But again, you can just keep it on your thigh. On your inhale, let's come back up towards the center, reach both arms up. As you exhale, hinge yourself forward and let that right knee come over top of your right toes as much as you can, keeping the right heel down on the floor. So you're going into this deep, deep flexion, dorsiflexion of the right ankle. Back foot can be tucked under or pointed, doesn't matter to me. Keep squeezing the hips inwards together. So there's two things that can happen. You can come forward and you can let those hips kind of splat out. I want you to think about drawing the thighs in towards the center. Now, as if your foot and your ankle were, well, they are attached. I was going to say as if they were attached. They are attached. I want you to keep the top of your foot coming towards the shin. As you start to lean back, peel your toes up off the floor as much as you can. So you're in this like weird Ardha Hanumanasana. Keep pulling the ankle up. One more time, let's come forward, deep, deep flexion. Keep the heel or hips coming towards each other. See if you can maintain this angle in the front foot and then slowly peel yourself back. Excellent. Next time that you come forward, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee up. Keep sending the hips up, straighten your legs, turn yourself to the left side of your mat, turn the toes, and come into a wide-legged forward fold. Let yourself shift around a little bit, maybe wiggle those hips from side to side. Take your hands underneath your face, inhale, halfway lift. Keep the left hand down on the floor. Inhale, reach the right arm up. And notice how much your hips shift to the side. See if you can keep them as centered as possible. Sorry for the booty shot here. Exhale, right hand comes down. Switch sides, left hand comes up. Keep those hips as centered as possible. Feel the rotation in the thoracic spine. And exhale, come back down towards the center. Walk your hands back towards the top of the mat, spinning your toes forward, and take a big step into your forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle your arms around as you come to stand. And exhale, hands to your heart. Let's keep it moving. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Feel the long, long stretch here. Right foot staying down on the floor. Inhale, left leg is going to lift up. Take it as long as you possibly can. Good. Keep the hips square. Now bend that knee, draw it in towards you, shift yourself forward and step down towards the top of the mat. Back knee comes down, walk your hands up. We want to keep the hips really neutral here. Drop the pelvis down. Tall, tall chest. Left hand stays on the front thigh. Inhale, right arm reaches up. On your exhale, little side bend over towards the left side. Feel the opening on the right side of your body. You can always take your hand down to a block to take it a little bit deeper. Another couple rounds of breath here. On your inhale, let's come back up towards the center. Exhale, shift forward and take yourself into that deep dorsiflexion through the left ankle. Yes, it's okay to let your knee come over your toes. We want to train ourselves to come into this position. Keep squeezing the thighs together. Now you're peeling your foot up off the mat, trying to keep this angle as tight as you can. Rock yourself back, feeling that foot lift up into this weird Ardha Hanumanasana. Good, one more time. Shift yourself forward. Feel that stretch in the Achilles tendon. And then as you exhale, feel the strength in the shin to help lift that ankle, that foot up, holding it there. One more time, coming forward, tuck your back toes under, lift the back knee up, and then straighten your legs and walk yourself in towards your wide-legged forward fold. Let those arms hang down, maybe hold opposite elbows. Let your head hang down. Feel the stretch on the insides and the outsides of your legs. Let's take a little movement here. Walking your hands over towards the right side, holding onto the right ankle. Bend into the left knee and keep drawing yourself towards the right side. Maybe the left elbow comes down towards the floor. Feel that deep, deep stretch. 3, 2, 1, straighten the leg. Walk your hands all the way over to the left side. Hold on to the left ankle. Bend into the right knee. Keep that left leg really, really straight, and you're pulling yourself towards the left. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Straighten your legs. Walk yourself towards the center. Inhale, halfway lift. Now turn your toes back towards the top of the mat and step your right foot forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach those arms. Exhale, hands to your heart. Now, choice if you want to, we're going to go into Malasana. If you want to use the blocks as support like we did, or maybe drop it to one block, you can. If not, we're going to do it without the blocks now. So turning the toes towards the outsides and dropping the hips down into your Malasana. If you choose to do it without the blocks and you find that your heels are really elevated off of the floor, you can always roll your mat up a few times and put your heels on the mat, or if you have a towel or a blanket handy, put that underneath you. We're thinking about sinking the sits bones towards the floor as much as we can, but all the same activation is happening that happened when we were on the blocks at the beginning. Or if you're on the blocks, same thing as we did at the beginning. Take your right shoulder and drop it onto the inside of the right knee as much as you can. Right hand reaches across and grabs the left ankle. So you're like crisscrossed here. Left hand comes onto the inside of the left knee, and then just give it a little bit of push and let it relax. A little push and relax. Another little push and relax. This time push and see if you can maintain this position. Take that left hand now and place the fingertips on your left shoulder. See if you can drop the left shoulder down towards the floor as much as you can. Maybe it touches, maybe it doesn't. On your inhale, spin the elbow to point up towards the ceiling. Keep the elbow pointing towards the ceiling and then reach the left arm all the way up, unfold. Exhale, bring the fingertips back towards the top of your shoulder and then drop the elbow back down towards the floor. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, elbow comes up towards the ceiling. Reach the hand up. Exhale, fingers to the shoulder and roll yourself down. 1 more time. Inhale, all the way up. Elbow first, unfold. Exhale, left hand to the shoulder and all the way down. Come all the way back up towards the center. If you're comfortable here, you can just hang out here. If you need to straighten your legs and take a little shake out, do that, because we're going right into the other side. Give everybody a moment. See if you're comfortable in your malasana. I say try to spend 10 minutes in a squat a day. Make this your comfortable rest pose. This is where you should brush your teeth. Okay, drop the left shoulder onto the inside. Take the left hand across towards the right ankle. Right hand comes to the inside of the thigh, and you're just giving a little bit of guidance, a little push. You might feel a nice little stretch on the inside of that hip, and then let it relax. Open it up. I know malasana is like super challenging. Drop it in. One more time. Open it up and close it in. Now open it up and see if you can maintain that position. Take the right hand or fingers to the right shoulder. Drop the elbow down as much as you can. Inhale, unfold. Take the elbow up towards the ceiling. Reach the arms up. Whew. Bring the fingers towards the shoulder and then roll it all the way down. 2 more times. Roll the elbow up, unfold. Exhale, fingers to the shoulder. Bring her down. One more last time. Inhale, bring it up. Reach it up. Exhale, fingers to the shoulder. Bring it down. Good. Keep your fingers or hands down towards the floor. Straighten your legs up and pigeon toe your feet. So bring the big toes together and feel that internal rotation right from the hips, staying in your fold. Good work. Deep hip work today. A few more breaths here. Spin your toes back towards the top of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, find that length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle, sweep those arms all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. Now, if you have a wall handy or close by that you can still see, take yourself and maybe your blocks over towards the wall. If you were on last week, we worked on triangle pose, which is a lot of hip mobility, leg mobility, side body mobility, a little bit of everything. And so we've been prepping with a lot of the things that we've been doing today to take us back into this posture. And I really like to use the wall as support and a little bit of guidance. So we're going to take our back towards the wall and turn your right toes towards the opposite way. So for setting up for a triangle. Your right hip is going to be closer towards the wall with the right foot, and then the left foot can be farther away. So when you look, your heels do not have to be in alignment. They can be a little bit wider here. Take your block on the right side and place it on the inside of your right foot. Hands come to the hips. Start to shift your hips towards the left leg. So we are using this right hand to give a push so that you can feel the stretch in the back of the right hamstring, and you can feel the lengthening on the outside of the left hip. Both sides of our body stay long as we start to slide or hinge ourselves over. Now, if the block is too far, maybe your hand is just going to rest on the top of your thigh or maybe just below the knee. Just don't rest on your kneecap. Not that you're going to hurt yourself. You can take your fingertips down towards the block on the floor. Once you're there, the top shoulder, without using your arm, I want you to think about spinning the rib cage and see how close you can get the back of the left shoulder towards the wall. Let the neck be long. So you can feel this opening in the left side of the body. From there, now you can unravel the left arm up towards the ceiling. And we're trying to reach and lengthen each side of your body as best as you can. You can either gaze up or you can gaze down. Take another deep breath here. Now to come out of it, let's take that left arm out of the equation, back to the hip. Use the strength of your side body to bring yourself all the way back up to stand. Amazing. Let's try that on the other side. So spin the toes, get the left toes to face towards the left side, and then move your block so it's just on the inside of your foot. And we want the left hip fairly close, if not touching the wall. Right foot can be, a whole foot distance away from the wall, toes pointing to the side. Use your hands to help feel the hips move. I find this is a part that a lot of people don't quite understand how to make that happen in the body. So we want to let the left hip draw back underneath, almost like you're trying to stack your right hip on top. Right leg, hip pokes out. Each side of the body gets really long and we hinge forward only as far as you can, keeping both sides of your body really, really long. Then the fingertips can come either to the thigh, the shin, or maybe to the block. Keeping your hand on your hip, now try to spin the rib cage to get the back of your right shoulder, so your shoulder blade towards the wall. Once you have that position, then unravel the arm. Take a few breaths here. You can keep gazing up or gazing down. Feel that length, that entire side body stretch. Little soft bend to the front leg, but keep it engaged. Now to release, take the top arm back to the hip. Use the strength of your side body to lift yourself all the way up. Well done, everyone. So often when I see triangle pose and we start to go forward, I see a lack of that shift in the hips. We lean, then we kind of crunch in the side, and then we open it up and we just kind of flail the arm behind us. So we're missing a lot of the connection that we should have in the spine and in the hips. So that's a really great tool that you can use for yourself to practice your triangle using the wall as support. You can leave the wall now and bring yourself back to your mat and find yourself onto your seat. Give your legs a little stretch out, a little shake out. And then hug the knees in. Walk your seat as close to your heels as you can. Keep the knees hugging towards each other. Give those knees a hug and tuck your chin around your spine. Keeping yourself in this tight, tight ball, come to the tips of your toes. And you'll feel yourself rock backwards on your hips. Play around with trying to find your balance. Taking the feet up off the floor. Maybe it's 1 foot at a time, or maybe you can get both. In this tight, tight round ball. Keeping the knees in tight, start to elongate through the spine. You can still hold on pretty tight. Use your abdominals. You might rock and roll a little bit. That's okay. Hold yourself here. You got it. Now maybe start to reach one arm towards the front. Keep the feet squeezing in. Keep the spine long. Now maybe reach the other arm. Keep the thighs squeezing together. Press the chest up towards the ceiling for 3, 2, 1. We're coming down halfway. Roll through the spine, stretch the legs out. Ardha Navasana. See if you can get the small of your back onto the floor. Rib cage towards the hips. Reach the arms forward. Lengthen the neck. Shoulders off the floor for 3, 2, 1. And slowly release yourself down. Once you find yourself onto your back, bend your knees and take your feet nice and wide and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Feel both knees reach in each direction. Feeling both sides of your body get just a little bit longer. Coming back towards the center, bend the right knee in, give it a hug, and stretch the left leg towards the top of the mat. Keep the left leg so straight and strong, just like as if you were standing on it. Use your left hand to guide your right knee over towards the left. Keep both shoulders down on the floor and unravel the right arm, looking towards the right. Supine twist. Keep reaching the right hip towards the front. Left leg is straight and strong. Deep breaths here. Few more breaths. And as you exhale, coming onto your back, let's switch to the other side, bending the left knee in, stretching the right leg out. Feel the length in the front of the right hip. Pull that left knee in. Right leg stays really strong. Use your right hand to pull the left knee over towards the right and extend the left arm to the side. Keep the left hip reaching to the top of your mat. Right leg stays strong. And we hold and breathe. Deep breaths in and out. Slowly unwinding onto your back. Taking both feet onto your mat nice and wide, and then drop both knees in towards the center, hands to your belly, resting pose. Start to sync your breath with more awareness and stillness. So as you're inhaling and you're exhaling, each breath is around the same length. And it doesn't matter how long the breath is, just try to make it equal. If you breathe in for 3 counts, breathe out for 3 counts. If you're comfortable here, feel free to stay. It's time for a final resting pose, Shavasana. Make any adjustments that you need. And see if you can settle into your Shavasana fairly smoothly. Let your breath deepen as you bring your mind back from wherever it may have wandered to. Invite movement in, subtle moves, wiggling the fingers and the toes. A rock of the head. Taking a nice long full body stretch. See how each side of your body feels now. And exhaling, bending one knee in at a time to bring them in towards your chest. You can come over onto your side and press yourself up or just rock and roll until you're on your seat. Closing your eyes down. Just finding one more posture of stillness. Taking your hands in front of your heart center, bowing your chin towards your chest. Reminding yourself that it's the consistency of whatever you're doing in whatever in your life. Doesn't matter whether it's yoga, a different workout, work, family life, relationships, doesn't matter. Consistency is what will help pay off with your goals and the benefits that you're looking for. So I thank each and every one of you for being so consistent in joining me in this class. I hope that you feel better now than when you arrived. Be well, my friends. Namaste. Hmm.